Now for our second week of mock draft breakdowns, we are going to compare two different ESPN mock drafts, one from the general manager perspective and one from the scout perspective. So let's start with the GM side of things with Mike Tannenbaum.
Wow, quick on the draw. Let's go. Let's dive right in.
Already spinning. He is picking wide receiver Garrett Wilson from Ohio State for the Jets. What do you think about that?
Well, first off, picking a wide receiver at number 4, I don't want to say is a popular pick, but it's sure gaining steam among mock drafts. Something to keep an eye on as the draft gets closer. But as a player, Garrett Wilson has been super productive at Ohio State. Taking a look at his career numbers here, we talked about the productivity. How about 2021? Career high, 70 catches, 1,058 yards, 12 touchdowns, averaging 15.1 yards per catch. Caroline, he only had 2 drops on 102 targets. He caught 89.7 of his catchable passes according to ESPN stats and information tracking.
I mean, those are some good stats.
Good ratio.
You can't deny that. You can't deny that. Okay, so for pick number 10, Mike Tannenbaum is going with
all right.
defensive end Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State for the Jets. How do you like that?
Well, let me start with this. I know he's listed as defensive end, and he was just that for Florida State. He did work out as a linebacker at the Combine, something to keep an eye on as he makes that transition. This pick makes total sense. Robert Saleh loves his defensive lineman. Johnson, one of this year's top prospects, and he exploded onto the scene this season after transferring from Georgia to Florida State. He was named the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year after leading the conference with 12 sacks, 18 tackles for loss. He had 18 and a half career sacks, all right, Caroline? 12 of them came this past season, and this guy has potentially the biggest draft riser since the Senior Bowl.
All right, let's head over to ESPN Matt Miller, which is the scout perspective of things.
Oh, we're going, Caroline.
Oh, they're kicking me along. All right, Matt Miller is giving defensive lineman TRAVON Walker from Georgia to the Jets at pick number 4. What do you like about TRAVON Walker?
Oh, well, Jermaine Johnson's former teammate, just a little side note, but Walker is a freak athlete. You're betting on his traits more than his production in this scenario, but he's 6'5", 272 pounds. He ran a 4.51 40-yard dash at the Combine. This is the craziest part. His RAS, which stands for a relative athlete score, was a 9.99 out of 10, which ranked 3rd among defensive ends from 1987 to 2022. All right, Myles Garrett also had a 9.99. Pretty good player in the NFL. How about a throwback, though? Javon Curse, 9.97. Do you remember his nickname? It was The Freak, which is exactly what Walker is, despite pedestrian sack numbers. 9.5 career sacks over 3 seasons, but 6 of them came in 2021.
I mean, like you said, the RAS number speaks for itself. That is a crazy number. Okay, so for pick number 10, Matt Miller is going to give the Jets wide receiver Drake London out of USC, who we spoke about in last week's mock draft.
Right, this pick right here, positionally, like we said last week, the player 2, seems to be one of, if not the most popular pick to the Jets, especially at pick number 10.
Now, what do you think about these drafts being opposites where they drafted wide receivers versus defensive ends?
Well, it feels like that a lot of draft analysts are sharing a brain here in terms of defensive end, wide receivers, and we got to throw quarterback in the mix as well. We talked about Sauce Gardner, very popular pick for the Jets at number 4, but let me just put this into perspective. Jamar Chase was the 5th overall pick in 2021, and I don't think analysts believe someone of Chase's caliber at wide receiver is in this year's draft. However, in this scenario, I just want to say, you do have your pick of the litter most likely if you are Joe Douglas, because it's highly unlikely that a receiver goes before the 4th overall selection, whereas with defensive end, there could be a couple pass rushers off the board by the time the Jets are on the clock at 4. The wrinkle here, though, we don't know how the team ranks these guys. So potentially the Jets' top pass rusher could be on the board at 4, even if a couple names are called before that. All this to say, Caroline, I see both sides of the coin, and I'm really excited to see how it's going to play out on draft night.
Well, it's going to be interesting no matter what scenario happens, but it really is interesting with both of these drafts having opposite positions at 4 and 10.